this works. Hello. This code works. So I'm gonna copy it. And then I'll apply my... wait, is there more? Yeah, I just have a timer here. Now I have a timer in a loop variable, which I'm not even using yet. Is it me or is my audio not as loud as normal? I can hardly hear myself. So let's do this differently. I'm pasting the code that works. And then we do the if one thing. Else that isn't working. It's always good to have the code that works and that doesn't work, both. And then you can slowly move them to... What? Oh no, I was... yeah, this is the code that works. For a moment I thought suddenly it works, but it's rather it still works. So this is the working code and this is the non-working code. Now what is the difference here? Hello a key. That can be moved outside, right? Because it's exactly the same as this line. The next line is timer set interval 1 second or 2 seconds. Okay, I was testing with 1 second. Let's put it outside here. Pretend that it is the same as that one. And then change it to 1 second. And we made a small change, so yeah, I'm going slow because I have no idea what it is. I don't think I changed anything now, except the timer went from 2 seconds to 1 second. And that still works. Huh. Then we run the timer, and the callback here is this bool success, etc. And then some function, and here I do also that. So I'm going to move this outside. Yeah, that should work. Because that line is exactly the same as this line. But then of course I have to move this one also outside. Is in there. And this one can be deleted. It has to be something stupid, of course, but it's completely escaping me. Okay, now it's time to check that the thing that didn't work still didn't work. So I change this now into a 0. Then we switch to the else here, which contains code that didn't work. And I just begin with seeing that that is the case. And I'm going to be very upset when it works, because that's impossible. Yes, thank God. So now we just stay gray. So apparently there is a difference between these two. I'm going to compare them again line by line, I guess. Well, if even this doesn't work, it must be something really stupid. Unbelievable. Okay. This line is the same as that line. No, it isn't. No, don't tell me. Don't tell me that is the reason. It is the reason. The equals 0 is missing here. God's sake, really? I can explain why I probably forgot that equals 0, because there's another block below that didn't work. And when that didn't work and I didn't understand that, I started to test this one. Aha! Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So this is now the working block. And it should be, because this line is now equal to that line. And this line is equal to that line, except that I renamed T to sys. Yep. And then we get here, this line is equal to that line, except that I still replace T with sys. Continue, and then we have here a TI, which is slightly different. And I print it, and then we have sys for the combined image samplers, and TI is a texture index for the M textures, and the rest is the same. In other words, this block is now really working and basically equivalent to that one. So we can remove this. Check again that it simply works. Something is, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Audio, what is wrong with my audio? Test. I don't know what this is. I don't hear a difference. I can even set it at 0. It's monitor. I'm not using the monitor. Like that. No, I don't see any difference. Maybe this got testing 1, 2. Yeah. Well, does it do my voice like this, and maybe the music is too loud? What about this? Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Yeah, I think this is better, right? Okay, yeah, yeah, I think this is better. Music is now very soft, but it's not about the music. So this works, and by the way, it's rotated clockwise, so the cats were at the top, now here, and the wall moved there, and the bugs moved up here. Yeah, Paris, now it sounds fine, right? I did change the volume of the music a bit, put it down. So if anyone feels the music is now too soft, then just tell me. Right, you have now the following. This works, and this code is still broken, I suppose. I had a static variable called dirty, but then I changed my mind and I call it loop var. Now, if this timer is run and it expires, it executes this lambda, and if I replace the code of the lambda with this code, then it stops working. Now note that mloopvar should start at 0. Let's do that. And the lambda is capturing this pointer, so we can just use the members of the class. The class is the window class, so that just lives. It's just not destructed. So 0 divided by something is still 0, and 0 modulo something is also 0. So we begin with pipeline and combined image sampler indexes is both 0. Now we do if sys is larger than 0, and it's not, and sys is unequal, well, I don't care, this is already not true. So we definitely continue to here, and then ti is set to 1. And then it prints pipeline and sys 0, 0. And then we call this line. And then we crash. At least that was yesterday the case. Well, in this case, pipeline is set to 0, sys is set to 0. Sys is not larger than 0, there we continue, ti is set to 1. We print 0, 0, we call this line, and we don't crash. As you see, it worked. How is that possible? Aren't these lines exactly the same? They are exactly the same. And if I miss something, I delete the old one. I mean, I'm being like really paranoid now for overlooking something. So I run this, it works. It will print the first we get here with pipeline is 0 and sys is 0. Then we call that and that works. I don't see that again. Yep, that works. And now if we change to this code, I don't think I made any changes, right? I just moved stuff out of the if else. So I'm really like still like, well, that's totally impossible that this is now crashing on the first call to this function. It's impossible. It's so impossible that now I expect it to work, simply because there is no difference and the other one works. And then we all have lost the code that didn't work because I didn't commit it. I just made changes. And I'll have to look at the stream of yesterday to see what the code was that didn't work. Okay, it's still failing. So we have a validation error in the call to vk update descriptor sets, which is being called by this function. And that is being called immediately after printing. We get here a pipeline equals 0 and sys is equals 0. And if you ask me, that's the first time that we get there. Otherwise, there wouldn't be 0 in the first place. Yes, so this is the first we get here. Pipeline is 0 and sys is 0, and then we get a validation error immediately. Hey LGL, how are you? Pipeline is 0, sys is 0, and we call a function that results in this being printed and then this being called. There's an unknown condition here. So this is just a timer running the expired state. This condition must belong to the timer, and at some point I started to print debug output because before I just saw 1 and it wasn't really easy to debug. Let me begin with fixing that unknown condition here, even though it's not very important. So we have this class somewhere. Oh. Not project sources, all sources. And that has a condition somewhere. Don't tell me it doesn't. What? I'm just doing signal 1. And you wait until something, and then I don't know. I have to change these ones, I guess, into something. And this signal is given when expired. AI timer expired. Adding it here. Static. Once expression condition type, I think it is. Yeah, turns green. Expired equals 1. And then I can use expired here instead of 1. Oh, I have a function called expired. We'll make it a little bit bigger then. Time expired. Yeah, so these just look something like this. I don't think I have a base class here, but see, I have another one without base class. Yep, that's just how it is. Copy this one. Oops. Class AI timer. Let's put it here. What condition? Keep changing my mind, don't I? Timer expired. Condition. The word condition is something that grows historically, I think. Now I would actually choose to call it signal or something. Okay, it's just a bit, you know, 1 bit in a bit mask. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, good for you, LGL. You got that idea from here, from me. So I have an 1 terabyte SSD, but even a fast one. I think it's faster than a separated one. This one sits on my motherboard. Jesus, can this camera not give up? Yes. Yeah, or just playing around, I guess. I don't think I am capable of writing a full game by myself. You usually need complete teams for that, right? Even writing the whole game engine is a bit much already. But there is several other people, I think, in the world that are writing in Vulkan engine at the moment, alone. So it's possible. It's just something that needs to, some kind of standard is going to be formed, I guess. You know, one of the engines is better than the other, and then people start using that. And then that then kind of sets a standard between quotes. Mine is not going to be the one, so yeah, it's just for personal use, I guess. Playing around. What was I doing? TT. It is crashing. Right, that was what I was doing. Troop. And then we look at that file. And I'm gonna go to the top and then grab for the getter again. So the first call we crash. And now you see that this says timer expired condition. Fun. So the timer expires and then it runs this state here. This state. It doesn't do anything, it just finishes the task, which then causes the callback. So we go from base state finish to base state callback, which then calls callback. And then that is our lambda. So then we get here. And then prints that it is, yeah, well, these might be interesting to compare, although it's more hexadecimal pointers than something else, or values. Let's copy this, compare it. Now, that is in use is something I totally understand, but then why would it not be in use? Why would it not be in use when I do it differently? Because in both cases I'm going to call this function with pipeline is 0 and sys is 0 when the timer expires. Totally beyond me. Well, that's what was being printed. So let's use this code again, just to compare the outputs of the first call. Just changing the code of the lambda that is being executed when the timer expires. Let's write this to another file. It's called to fill. No. This is working. Go to top. Go to we get here. Oh. Right. So we crash immediately after validation error, but not because of the validation error. So I thought it is impossible because I'm doing the exact same thing. And in one case I do not get a validation error, in the other case I do. But we get a validation error in both cases. So indeed we get here again with the same values. And this is probably the same output. And we also get a validation error. Everything is indeed the same. Yep. It's printing a warning, but actually it's working. In this case, it's more like a warning instead of an error. Well, it is an error, but it still works, so yeah. Okay, then we have to deal with a different problem. I definitely have to fix these validation errors, and I have no clue how. But what I wanted to test is what happens if I do these calls and with 1 second in between. So now they're just being done all 4 with in a burst, but I want to have a delay between all of them, just for testing. Right. I think the call to run here is the problem then, because there's no other errors. It just breaks out of it. I'm doing something wrong. No, I must have misunderstood how to use this run call from within the callback of a timer. Or I never tested it and it just doesn't work. My idea was that I use an external variable, a loop var. It runs from 0 to 6. And then when it's 1, then the pipeline stays at 0 and this one goes to 1. If mloop var goes up, the sys goes from 0 to 1 to 2 and then again to 0. While the pipeline is 1, so it does exactly the same as the 2 nested for loops here. The number of pipelines is 2, number of combined image samplers is 3, so the total size is 6. And this reproduces both for loop variables from the one loop var. And then we do the exact same thing here, where continue means also nonsensical. Dude, I just incremented mloop var. That should be inside here. If I do a continue, I just increment loop var and we increment go to the next value. And now we don't do that. And this is the same. If we did it, we do a break. So then we increment the loop var again and I call run, which should result in the timer being restarted. So that then 1 second later we enter again at the top, as if the break had not been there. Light Tundra, name a program. What do you mean? Imagine that I would talk like that. Only a few words here and there from every sentence. I mean, words, sentence. Yeah, I'm just gonna see that it indeed crashes in the run, the call to run. Could have seen that because there is a core dump here. I did see that core dump. Just, I don't know. Never occurred to me that the validation error was not there in the case that I did see the textures. It simply says you cannot call run. Do I need a goal? I don't have a goal. The default behavior is to call the callback and then delete the AI timer object. One can call run again from the callback function to get a repeating expiration. Well, I got news for you. That's broken then. You can call run with parameters too, but using run without parameters will just reuse the old ones. Call the same callback. So that's why I just called run from the callback. I guess I'll have to fix this then. It doesn't even have to do, it doesn't have anything to do with the timer, I think. It's just any task should restart if you call run from the callback. Using this is just only has two states, start and expired. Set to true after the timer expired, so that has to be reset then. The actual timer that is object wrapped, so we must make sure that that can be reused, but that does have nothing to do with my assert. The interval, which I should not change if I call run without any argument, I guess. No, that's still set. So the timer object is not changed. That was constructed like this, so that still has the same callback. So I think these two are still okay, but I have to restart it. And we have to set that to false, so we restart it. So by not calling set interval again, I just keep the same interval. Now assuming it would restart, we get here. And that calls mtimer start, which I guess just should work. The timer was already expired. You can just reuse this timer, calling start again. But that's not reset. I'm not sure why I'm having this in the first place. Where is that being used? Wait until. Oh. Okay. So when expired is called, we set this, and then we call signal, which causes this to wake up, and return because no, it sets yeah, blah. Well, I forgot how to wait until works, but it works obviously like it waits until this returns true. And I guess that then it will continue in this state. That waits for this signal, and if then this is true, it will continue in that state. So indeed we just finish. And then I used it. So what I could do is reset it here. I'm not sure if I can probably restart it as well if I abort the thing. Aborting would not go through expired. But if I abort it, might be a race condition or not. I think it's possible that it expires, it sets this, and then it continues running that, but then detects that in the meantime it was aborted. So then it is set. It did expire, and therefore it was set, this boolean. But we never get here because it was aborted. So it's actually not correct. I think I have to do it here. I think our abort implementation, no, the abort implementation is only called when you are aborting it. I have to set it in finish implementation. If you abort a task, then finish implementation is also called. And then we have to add that to the abort. Instead of finish. See if we can find a comment from somewhere else. Stealing my comments. Close window. No comment, also possible. Also no comment. What is that? Yeah, like that. Something else. Nothing. Okay, we get it. I'm going to make up some comment. Finished, because aborted as well. Aborted or finished, expired. Okay, all that has nothing to do with the more general thing then, that calling a run from the callback must be allowed and must cause it to be reset. Restarted from the beginning. I indeed have seldom, if ever, used that. But I think it should work. I must make it work. Now I want to run it in a debugger and see what the state is. Yeah, can only be run when in one of these states. Well, we should be in callback state. So why is this assert failing then? So I definitely want the debugger to stop here. But the debugger will also stop in on the validation error, so I have to stop it from stopping in the validation error. Grep trap point. Yeah, I guessed correctly. If being traced, stop, no longer do that. Well, we get one of them. Okay, so that's the assert. Here's assert, and then the big question is, what is this state? The base state is multiplex. Huh? What? So we're not in the callback. Callback is being called from a normal multiplex. Oh, right. Yeah, I see. I see. Yeah, yeah. So we call run here from the callback, but this is not a callback of the task, it's a callback of the timer. Wait a minute, this is AI stateful task callback. There. Yeah, this is a task running in the base state multiplex AI timer expired. That then calls finish, which then base state change from finish to callback, running state BS callback, entering AI stateful task callback. I think I've added my run to the wrong callback though. I feel stupid. What is going on? So here it is testing that, if a run was called or not. So this is the task that I think is in the state callback, although I cannot print it. Because if the state is hidden inside the substate, which is thread safe wrapped, and I did a bit too good of a job there. Cannot print it. Cannot even access it from the debugger when it's not locked. I think run is being called from the wrong callback post bunny. I've thought more often I should make a debug version of the AI thread save, where you can still see the hidden type without locking it, so I can read the values while from the debugger. I mean, I can try this, but yeah, that's not going to compile, right? I mean, not going to run. Debugger is too stupid. What is going on? State callback. This one is in state callback. It's not printing that it isn't. So then in what state am I in? In the assert. Let's go down again. Sorry, what task am I in? The moment that it asserts. Oh yeah, I'm calling run, but it's not clear what task that belongs to. Go down again. Here we see the task, and it's not highlighted. It's a different task. This is so... what? I am stumped. This is in the right task, and I'm calling mCallback, which does invoke magic stuff with whatever, and then we end up in my lambda, which calls run. But if I then, that run is then called on a different task. Huh? What? Run is being called on the window task, I think. This is the window. All right. I bet it is the window. Let me see if I can find that back. Yeah, it's the window. All the highlights everywhere. Refer to the owning window. Let's scroll up high enough, and I should even see that it creates it as that window, I guess. That's the window. Oops. Build shader that takes the owning window as the first argument. Okay, well, it shines a small light on it. The current function that we are in is create textures. And create textures is part of the window class, which is derived from synchronous window, which is derived from task DQ, I guess, which is derived from AI stateful task, which has a run function because it is a task in itself. And then calling this run here, then the lambda doesn't know any better than, oh, that must be fuck me. I finally see my IQ is just dropped to 60 or something like that. I don't want to talk about it. How can I be so stupid? I was calling the wrong run instead of from the wrong callback. Well, it had to be something stupid, but it's always damaging my self-esteem, as it were, when you didn't finally find it. No, that works. So again, now it does one texture every second, which was my test. But the validation error is still there. Yeah, you're off the hook, Post Bunny. Run in GDB again. Yep, So we have validation errors because apparently the texture is in use. Yeah, of course it's in use. I'm using it every frame, and it's not a frame resource. That's problematic. I think that this is not one, because that says that you are allowed to update it while unused. And it's not unused. So I could use that. The descriptor bindings updated by this command. Descriptor bindings which were created without VK descriptor binding update after bind. Now this is about the update descriptor sets. Now I want to go to where I create these things then. Descriptor bindings. Where do we create descriptor bindings? We don't think. seems to be part of the descriptor set layout. Let's go update after bind. The thing indicates that if descriptors in this binding are updated between when the descriptor set is bound in a command buffer and when that command buffer is submitted to a queue, then the submission will use the most recent set descriptors for this binding, and the updates do not invalidate the command buffer. Descriptor bindings created with this flag are also partially exempt from the external synchronization requirement. In VK update descriptor set with template and VK update descriptor sets. Multiple descriptors with this flag set can be updated concurrently in different threads. Now the same descriptor must not be updated concurrently by two threads. Descriptors with this flag set can be updated concurrently with the set being bound to a command buffer in another thread, but not concurrently with the set being reset or freed. I think it's probably going to work. The only thing I'm not happy about is that they talk about before the buffer is submitted. Because I do that almost immediately. Hmm. Okay, let's. I'm just getting tired of reading it. Only halfway. Let's just have a look at what Sasha Willems has done. He probably has an example using this, so they can just steal his code. Well, I mean, look at his code to see what exactly is involved. I'm going to open a new tab. CD projects XX Linux viewer. Yeah, find it back, I would say. Examples. Uh-oh. Type F execute. Grab update after bind. Descriptor indexing. Oh yeah, that was for the macOS. They need that. Because they have a very small small amount by default or something like that. He's not really doing it, I think, anywhere else. Just this exception here. No examples. Well, now what you have to do with the spec. descriptor binding sampled image update after bind indicates whether the implementation supports updating sampled image descriptors after set is bound. This feature is not, if this feature is not enabled, da must not be used. So we must enable that feature. I guess that will be the first step to check if they even have support for this. Of course we have support for this. This is a desktop thing. But how do I check that? It's something to do with physical device descriptor indexing features. And then the annoying part is that I'm having slightly different names because I'm using C++ instead of C. But I guess it's that. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I'm sitting in Sasha Williams. Naiko, hello. And still not. Isn't this highly annoying? Well, maybe some other features. Gotta get closer. At least I found the right file, I think. The M supports stuff here. I just add an M supports. And then we had to look for, what was it? Something with update. Update after bind, sample image, update after bind. Let's do this one. Storage, while pending, partially bound, descriptor count. What's array? I'm pretty damn sure I already have one of these. dynamic indexing. I don't know. Hard to find back my own code sometimes, right? Now, wasn't it that one? Update after bind bit. Descriptor. So there's something else. Update after bind. This must be it. because eUpdate after bind is actually descriptor binding update after bind. And that's what they were talking about. Descriptor binding update after bind bit. In order to use that, I must ask for the future descriptor binding and then out of nowhere sampled image update after bind. Now what about the other ones like this one? Descriptor binding storage image update after bind. I want to use the same thing. Okay. So we use the flag for sampled images, then this one must be set. Sampler, combine image sampler or sampled image. Now you have to set this thing. Let's begin to give it an initialization. We have to set it where? Yeah. Let's add a successful first. I'll add this one below supports cache control. Yeah. Thought it was a 1.2. Not sure. Probably. Yeah. Save struct. Save strength. Core seems more logical. Yeah, there's 1.2 features. And I needed a feature storage. No storage, that one. That boolean in physical device Vulkan 1.2 features. So I'm going to have something like this. But then I still have to request it. And I requested this one apparently before. In the KG in the description below the video, there is a link to my GitHub. Project is called Linux Viewer because it's only supporting Linux. You know, feel free to port to Windows, but you're not going to succeed. Right, so I have to add it here apparently, and then I do. It's an optional feature because, well, if you never change any textures, then I just have to make sure that I support it, then support that it is not supported. It's kind of silly, but I'll see if that's not too much work. So I'm going to add it here. That doesn't make any sense, I think. Undo, undo, undo. Probably already have it, right? Yep. So let's make this one simply true. Well, I found it back. I think this should work. I'm having here a list of 1.2 features, and now we have requested sample image update after bind, and then I don't know, that boolean is being set somewhere there. And I might want to print it as well, or not. We already printed, yeah. Let's see if this compiles. What? Yeah, that was a yawn, sorry. Well, could you be my guest? You can look at my code. It's not clear if he said that because he did not hear my voice. I'm gonna type this in. You can't hear me? I am talking. Yeah, so that compiled. But now what? You see how slow this goes? And then I showed it before, but this spec is so incredibly long. If I would just scroll over it, changing the scroll bar, you would be like, etc., etc. Page after page after page after page. It's that's why Vulkan is actually not usable. It's pure horror. Yep. So I wanted to find this. And then assume that I already saw most of them. A mutable descriptor type indicates that non-uniform descriptor indexing must be supported. Let's ignore that. Apparently there's a maximum descriptor set update after bind, but it's uniform. Hello Rincon. Test, yeah, just checking if audio should work. Yeah, well, this is the last one, 46 out of 46. It's just my guess. And my guess would be that I'm having somewhere. I thought it was a layout, right? What is in my throat? I have probably somewhere this, and then in that neighborhood I need that flag. Would be my guess. except that I'm using this then instead. Why so many? Well, these are comments. This is an assert. Let's have a quick look at this. It's random. Armq doesn't count. This is a case. What the hell is that doing? Okay. And the other one is just as not important, I guess. It's a generation. Yeah. Declarations generation. Well, that leaves just 2 files. This one and that one. Yeah, let's look at one. To update descriptor set single. But that just updates, so it's not creating it. So it should be the last one and this one. See the resource declaration. Nope. This pool needs flags too, right? So anyone else who can hear me? Or am I talking to myself? Yeah, it's fine now. What? I didn't change anything. You fix it. I think I'm going to begin with this one, and then it will give me an error for missing flags on my pool, and then we follow that, I guess. There we are. Update after bind. Pool. What? I need this one. We need these are pool create, and this is descriptor set layout create. Why don't I just look it up by what I think I need, which is this. Update after bind. I need these things here. That's descriptor binding flags. Descriptor set layout binding flags create info. Don't be kidding me. You have to separately make the descriptor binding flags. Ooh, it's the P binding flags. Okay, spread descriptor. Descriptor set layout bindings flags create info. It's real. It's just a real thing. Okay, let's search for. Gonna have to change pass these anyway, so let's search for this, my own code. Or not. Or really not. Absolutely not. Descriptor set layout binding. Yeah. What the hell? Cannot find it. There's the flex grid info again. Oh, it is in the pnext chain. You have to add it as an extension to the descriptor set layout grid info. You'll be able to find that back. Okay, this creates a descriptor set layout. Je hebt de pnex zijn of a VK descriptor set layout create info structure includes a VK descriptor set layout binding flags. Create info structure, then that structure includes an array of flags, one for each descriptor set layout binding. And the VK descriptor set layout binding flags create info structure is defined as this. Has its own pnext and a binding count and an array, or the equivalent, is 0 or the number of elements in P binding flags. P binding flags is a pointer to an array of. If binding count is 0, or if this structure is not included in the pnext chain, the VK descriptor binding flags for each descriptor set layout binding is considered to be 0. Otherwise, the descriptor set layout binding at VK descriptor set layout create info P bindings I uses the flags blah blah I, aka that binding count must be equal, right? Just say something about that here. Don't see it. Let me search for it. Is this the one? Yeah. If it is not 0, it must be equal to the VK descriptor set layout create info binding count. Good. That makes sense. Now I guess I'll add support for creating one with those flags, as in and And that then would be this, right? Oops. Yep. Oh, didn't change the declaration. Well, let's call this binding flags. Okay, and then I want a default value, but I don't want an ambifix at the end, or do I not? I guess I don't. Yeah, normally I would like this to be at the end, but on the other end, might as well. So I put it at the end, so now I can give it a default value. Put it at the end as well. And then the default value is simply a null pointer. Okay, and now if that binding flags is non-null, I have to add a pnext thing. And how does that work again? No. I cannot remember it. Oh, I written. How's your memory? Can you remember how I add the pnext chain? Oh, it's something with chain. Yeah, chain. No, not the swap chain. Then again, this is the chain, the structure chain, VK structure chain. It can be initialized apparently with comma separated stuff as well. We can do get to get just one of them. It returns a reference. Properties. Yeah, so non-const reference. Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, I changed my mind, I think. Rather, I make just two functions of this. So let's say I revert back to the old function. Where we don't have that. And then we don't print the pointer. Because we don't have it. And then the rest just stays the way it was. But I'm going to add a function that takes that thing as a new argument. Can still print it as a pointer. Nah, now it can be a reference actually. So let's just not print that as a pointer anymore, but just print it as is. On this I don't want to do VK structure chain. Something, and the something is that's a good question. This right? Pnext chain. Yeah. Now we have to initialize them both. like that. Now let's do it the same as I did that above. There's another one. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Do it like that. I don't think I can do it like this, however. This really must now be the constructors or what? I don't have constructors. Let's just try it like that and then see what the error is. So I need to fill the other one as well, and that then takes... No, it certainly do not have constructors. So just binding count and p binding flags. Now binding count must be the same thing, and binding flags must be the other binding flags. Data. In fact, this is really binding flags, of course. But yeah, so let's add an assert. Yeah, why not? I think that's good, as long as it compiles. Let's try to compile it. Though I still have to fix my the declaration, right? I made it a reference. Where are we? But yeah. Um, this is where it is called. So now I have to pass a vector and not a vector to add those flags if I want. Yeah, I think I'm going to do some shopping, because it's, again, I do not have any food. Still didn't go shopping since yesterday. Cannot do that every day, right? And then I can think about this while shopping and stuff. Because so I have to pass another argument to this function, a vector, calling a different function by argument overloading, if it is needed. Otherwise I don't want to do it. Not just needed, but also supported. But probably detected earlier somewhere else, so basically I just assume that it is supported, but then we should never request it if it is not supported. So which one shall we call? When do we want to call it? If any of the sorted descriptor set layout bindings requests that it may be changed later on. And I'm not even sure how I want to request that. Suppose I could make an object that is just a null pointer, stores a null pointer, returns a null pointer if you request a pointer. But you can add flags to it, and then if you do that, it creates a vector, filling it with all zeros, except the new flag that you added. And this is the logical device object. So I guess it should pass that new object to this function then. I'm not going to duplicate this function, of course. So, or I could just pass a vector itself as a pointer. But we all know I don't like that. So why not wrap the pointer in a new class, and then just use that here. But that new object then has to be stored together with whatever we are being given here, which is sorted. So kind of depends on where this comes from, right? Who is calling this? But yeah, I'm going to buy food. What shall I buy? Never know that. Because I should make a list first. I'll be back later tonight anyway, so maybe till then.